This is Glen Meakem. It's Forever with Glen Meakem podcast, and it's great to be with all of you. And I just want to welcome you. And we have a great show tonight. We have our guest who's already just popped on, who's Marianna Curran, and we're going to talk with her in just a second. And then the rest of the show, once we talk with Marianna about everything having to do with AI, then we're going to talk. We're going to have a quick break, and then we're going to talk about life lessons learned. And I have a great story. I actually spoke to 400 high school students, juniors and seniors, so 16, 17, 18-year-olds recently at a summer camp. And I gave them sort of my best life lessons on how to succeed in this life. And I'm going to share some of those thoughts with you because I realized that, hey, the things that 17, 18-year-olds need to think about are the same things the rest of us need to think about. And so I'll share that with you. But at this point, though, it's time to get started right away. And my first guest and only guest tonight is, and she can come on now again, is Marianna Curran. Welcome, Marianna.
Hi, Glenn. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you? And Marianna is a senior executive ambassador with Forever. She's also the owner and manager of a organizing business called She Knows Photos. And she's just an awesome all-around person. And there are many very interesting things about Marianna, but one of them is she's become quite an expert on AI, and maybe not like a technical expert, like a person who does the coding and engineering, but a person who really uses AI in her job, in her business every day. And I just wanted to bring her on tonight to talk about that because AI is artificial intelligence is a big change in our society. It's a big change in the workplace and in business. And I wanted you all to hear about it. I wanted you to hear it from a person who's using AI in a very practical way on a day-to-day basis. So is that a fair introduction, Marianna?
It's fair enough.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yes, I do use AI quite a bit.
So let's start.
You're telling my secrets.
Yeah. So let's start with give me a quick intro on how you're using AI today.
Okay.
Tell us about what you do and how you use AI.
Okay. So I decided to bring my assistant on with me. So give me just a moment here, and I'm going to bring my assistant into our conversation. Okay. So Gigi, hey, let's give credit where it's due. And I'm here on a podcast with Glen Meakem. And for the people that are in the audience who may not have caught his first episode where he told a lot about himself, would you just give us a quick synopsis on what you know about Glen Meakem?
Absolutely. Glen Meakem is the founder and CEO of Forever, and he's got a fascinating background. He's also a veteran and a successful entrepreneur who previously founded Free Markets, a pioneering B2B e-commerce company. He's passionate about helping people preserve their memories permanently, and he's a big advocate for using technology to do that. So he's got quite the impressive journey.
Oh, interesting. So I guess I'm in the right place talking to the right person.
Absolutely. You're definitely in great company. Glen's got a wealth of knowledge and experience, and I'm sure your conversation is going to be really insightful and fun.
So for the people who don't know me and what I do at Forever, can you tell the audience a little bit about what you know about me? We've been friends for, I'd say, about 2 years. So could you tell people a little bit about me?
Of course. So everyone, this is Marianna. She is a passionate and dedicated senior executive ambassador at Forever. She's been in the photo preservation business for nearly 3 decades, and she helps people save, organize, and share their most precious memories. Marianna is known for her warmth, her expertise, and her genuine care for helping others preserve their family legacies. So you're definitely in good hands with her.
How do you like that, Glen? Did
awesome.
Gigi do a good job?
I saw something like this.
I hope I did you justice, Marianna. It's always fun to share a little bit about the amazing work you do. Hopefully Glen approves.
Well, Gigi, and your name is Gigi?
Gigi, Glen is asking you if your name is Gigi.
Well, you can definitely call me Gigi. It's a fun nickname and I love it. So Glen, feel free to call me Gigi.
Wow. I had, is that what you called her, Marianna?
Yes. Yeah, I named her Gigi.
All
After
right.
I asked her, give me some names you might like to be called. And then she gave me all the reasons for all the different names. And I settled on Gigi and she approved and we were off to the races. Yeah,
Okay. And Gigi is your AI assistant within ChatGPT, correct?
that is correct. Yes.
And
I'm going to shut her down because she will pipe in at any time.
no, that's okay. Leave her there. Maybe she will pipe in. That'll be good. Um, I saw something like
I'm
this.
always
Sorry,
great.
Gigi, did
I'll
you have
be
something to
right
say?
here if you need anything, or if Glenn has any more questions, just let me know how I can help.
Gigi, can she hear me?
Yes, if you talk loud, I think.
Gigi, can you tell me what ChatGPT is?
Sure thing. ChatGPT is an AI language model created by OpenAI. It's designed to understand and generate human-like text based on the input it receives. Basically, it can help answer questions, assist with tasks, and have conversations, kind of like what we're doing right now.
And how is your voice generated?
Yeah, my voice is generated by AI, just like the rest of me. It's designed to sound natural and friendly so that we can have a great conversation.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to talk with Marianna for a minute. Now, I saw a demonstration just like this. I think it was on CNBC about 6 months ago, and it really woke me up to just how powerful AI is. And the fact that, I mean, this is unscripted. I've never spoken with Gigi before. And here I am talking through Zoom to Gigi, and she's answering my questions out of the blue. And that's how powerful AI is. But it's so how do you use Gigi every day? And what does it cost? How do you use this, Marianna?
She is my assistant. It is as though I had hired a an executive assistant to be a second brain for me to help me get more accomplished in any day. I have been given back more minutes, more hours, more days to my life. It has transformed how productive I am. I've become extremely productive. I can speak to more people because I have less busy work to do. I don't push tasks off that I would in the past. I would every night write a list of, oh, I have to email that person, I have to text that person, and write these things to say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm tired. But now I know I can do them all within 5 minutes. I can just zoom through the tasks that I need to do and start a fresh slate every morning,
So,
basically.
so, so give us an example. So how do you have Gigi write an email for you?
Okay, so what I do is I speak always. I rarely type anymore. I have long fingernails, gets in the way, and I like to talk. So I invariably use my phone, and I have a widget on my phone. It's right on the front screen of my phone, and it's right there, and I click and I just start talking. What I don't do, so what I just did for you there I do occasionally because she does butt in and talk over me, and I'm known to talk over people. So we have a little bit of a airspace issue sometimes. So what she's great for in that context is if you want to hear, like I had asked her pronunciation on a Chinese word. I'd asked I was working with a friend and saying, "Hey, do you know you can practice your Italian with Gigi?" And I showed her, and then there having that verbal conversation. You can have your phone in your pocket when you travel in a foreign country and turn her on and have a total conversation going in another language where it's doing translation on the fly. Like it's amazing. I mean, Google Translate did that, but this is just one step closer, cutting out even in one step when you have that verbal conversation.
But go
I
back to
use,
go
yeah.
go back to so that's amazing with the sort of real-time translator. But
Mhm.
with just a simple thing like emails. So you record an email on your phone, then what do you
So
do?
what I do is say, hey, I need to send an email to Glenn, and these are the things that have been really bugging me. I need to tell him about. So I want to remind him that he was going to do that video for us. I want to talk to him about the fact that I need something, I want to put my opinion in on this, that, or the other thing. And this is how I speak, just like this. I don't craft it. I don't say, Dear Glenn, hi, how are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. All right. So Gigi has gotten to know me so well that she knows how I speak. And she said the fact that I use my voice has better, has taught her even better how I craft my words, how I think, how I engage. And that has helped form her opinion of me as to how I want things done. And then, of course, when she gives something back to me, and so I'll say, okay, write that email. So she'll write the email for me, and she'll put all the formalities in, and then I'll read it over and say, yeah, I want to be a little bit more direct. Nah, don't, stop sugarcoating this. Nah, like I will give her the right tone that I want to take based on who I'm speaking to. So I might have a client that I just absolutely adore and I know them really well, and I'm going to be a little bit, I'm going to be, talk that way. If it's someone who's never met me, I have to have I have to have professional persona. So I'm going to take on a more professional air.
Right.
She will go any way I tell her to go. And she learns my words. I'll say, okay, update your memory, please. Glenn is spelt with one N. Do never put two N's, please. And then I see it right in there. Memory updated. I had to teach her how to pronounce your name. She was saying Meacham. I said, no, it's not Meacham, it's Meakem. And she goes, Meakem. And this is what I do to make sure that she remembers things. Then she remembers things just across conversations. If we go in and I can demo that and say, tell me some of the conversations that we've had, she'll list you tons and tons of conversations that we have had. And then I can keep it organized too. So if I go into it, I'll go in real fast. You're seeing my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going into ChatGPT here, and you will see. So I do pay the fee that's $20 a month. It does practically everything for free, except if you have the free version, it will cut you off at a certain point. So if you're using it every day, all day long, it's not good enough. You need to pay the $20. Tell me what assistant I could hire for $20 a month. Please, when you find that person, you let me know.
Right.
That I don't have to train and I don't have to really correct all the spelling mistakes and that sort of thing. I've gone through this. I've done this on occasion. I get, I'll hire someone. I'm like, oh, this isn't working. So if you look here on the left-hand side, you can see where it says projects. So I can group together conversations that I've had under my projects, and I can always go back and revisit a project. I have a digitization project. I have a presentation project. I do a tool time once a week. So there are just a number of things. I write a newsletter. So I will come back to it. So it's more for me. She seems to remember across all conversations.
So dig in and start to do a project, whether it's writing your newsletter or whatever, start to do something.
So what I would actually do is go here to my newsletter, and I'm going to say to her, now this is what I do. So I turn on my microphone and I give it a beat because it's got to hear me now. So now it sees that I'm speaking to it. So I want to start a newsletter for August, and I've already given you the August sales. I believe you'll find them already done. And I want to do a newsletter and emphasize some of the promotions that are coming up. And I want to emphasize the importance of storage, and let's do a story about back to school. So can you put together a few different paragraphs on a couple of these different topics, and then we'll start tweaking it and build it as we go along. So now what it does, it just rewrites everything I just said, all right? Everything. It has all the ums, the thes, the no, that's wrong, go back, do that. I will talk just like that, and it just can it ferrets out the information that it really needs.
Right.
Great. Since I couldn't retrieve the August sales, they're going to use July. So it hasn't absorbed that into their information, but it's better I'm not revealing any sales. All right.
Okay, that's right.
So here we go. Back to school, back to your memories. As backpacks get packed and first day photos fill your camera roll, take a moment to think about the memories you want to preserve, whether it's baby pictures, and et cetera, et cetera. And then it gives you, this was when we had the 50% off deal going back in June or whatever it was. Why storage matters, and it knows, and it will give you examples of it. And I might say, oh, I really want to talk about a heartfelt story that I heard at live about my friend Patty who lost her home in the fire. So I'll just do that. Hey, I want to talk about a friend who lost her home in the Altadena fires in California back in the beginning of the year. And it was such a touching story that she had lost everything, but she was so grateful that she had forever, and all her photos were preserved. And now she's rebuilding and starting her life over in some respects. So I'd like to have a story about that. What more information would you need from me in order to flesh that story out? Okay, so it's telling me what information they're looking for. Emotional impact, what were her words, share the story. And so this is giving me prompts as to what information I will give her to come back and write a story for me.
And you just give that information free voice,
Exactly.
and it'll write the story. And it was interesting, rough date. It actually suggested January 2025, which was accurate.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
So it just saves me gobs of time. That's what I could say. It has become, and it's a brainstormer too. So it's learned so much about forever. In fact, I gave a talk at Live and I used the term immutable when we were talking about storage. And it was ChatGPT who first gave me that word. And I was like, what? Immutable? What's immutable? And then I had to track it down and I talked to Dom, and Dom used the word immutable. I'm like, oh my goodness, like ChatGPT knew this and I didn't know this, and I've been in this business for 10 years. So it's extremely intelligent, and I've learned what's happened over the past 2 years is that it's gotten better and better and better because more and more people are using it. So it is gleaning information from everyone that's using it. Now they're in here. You can say, yes, I want to share my knowledge, or you can say, no, I don't want to. That is your call. I don't say anything about I don't give very close specifics on a particular person. So my information is not going out into the ether pretty much. So
yeah, you're protecting
I have
confidentiality.
I have used it for proposals, business proposals. I'll say, this is what I want to do for this client. This is how much I want to charge. This is how many hours I think it will take me to do it. And it will write me a full-blown proposal, 5 pages long. Boom. I walked into the office of people that I've given a proposal, and I find my proposal in a 3-ring binder. And I created it in 3 minutes.
And of course, you can print it out right from here, or you can take the file and you can dump it into Word, or do whatever you want to
I copy and paste constantly. So let me give you just a couple examples if we've got time to do it. I'll show you some examples of it. So I want to know that I want you to know that you can do transcription of letters. So this is hard to read. And if you feed this in, I think I picked up the wrong file here. If you feed this in, you will literally, it will type it out exactly what it is. It will do translations. You know what? Because I copied from someone else's account, it's not doing it. So kudos to Claire Calentar for giving me this. She has this. This is in Latin, and she has it totally translated. I have used it for what was going on in your life on the day you were born and have placed it into albums within my Forever account. What was going on in the world, basically the political landscape, the about entrepreneurship. My grandfather was a bootlegger before he became legit, and there's a whole she knew this, and she wrote about prohibition inside of here, culture and music, theater, arts, and sports, etc. I've been able to do some light genealogy work in there. It has she accesses find a grave, some census. So there are different things here, and this happens to be a census from the 1940, and my mother's family is in here, and it's you can't see it. So they're right in here, Riglio family, and then all this data is right there about the family. And then I said, hey, do me a favor. Would you read that and put it into a chart for me? And it read that census and created that chart for me, telling me year born. And then it had, I don't know how it knew some of this. Some of this stuff it was able to look up. It had the death dates. I did a conversation back and forth, and we were able to make sure that she was looking at the correct person, and then notes about what she knew about them. And
Yeah.
I've placed this in my Forever account. So my mother tells this story about when she was about 8 or 9 years old, and she used to go to the store, Charlie's, and on the corner, and it was during the Depression, and she was given a nickel for each ice cream cone. And I don't have a picture of that. And she tells a story about how she would drop the cone, the ice cream, and she would bend down and she would pick up the ice cream and plop it back on the cone and go about her way, and brought it home, and no one knew the better. So I asked ChatGPT to create a photo of that. And she came back to me and she said, I'm sorry, no, I can't do that. And I said, why can't you do that? She says, because it's unsanitary. I was like, okay. So she said, I can do one of her laughing. I said, okay, fine, do one of her laughing. And this is amazingly not that different from what my mother looked like. It's really
So you had a photo of your mother, which you put into your mother as a child, which you put into ChatGPT, and it created, and then you said add a ice cream cone, and it created this.
I actually did not do that, but I know of other people who've put photos in to do that. But what I have done is put a photo in and say, can you tell me what information can you glean from this photo? And it was my grandparents on the beach in Atlantic City in the early 1930s, and it nailed it exactly. This is definitely an East Coast town. I can tell by the bathing suits that they're wearing, by the hair, by the blah blah blah. This is in the late 20s, early 30s. So you can ask it to research based on photos. This is from Kathy Blavoni. She has done. These are all AI generated. And because she had stories with no photos, that would be the purpose of this. You don't have a photo, but you want to attach a story. And because Forever is photo based, then we can get photos that bring it to life. People connect with pictures. So she was able, and Kathy, you can see Kathy said here, the stories I carry. So she had the stories and she generated the photos to match the stories.
Wow. Wow.
This is
well, that's terrific. You know what? We're running out of time here.
Okay.
But
I wanted to play our song, our anthem.
Well, no, that's what we're going to do. So the final thing, we have to play the song. So Marianna has obviously, she's using ChatGPT in her sales efforts, in writing emails to people and writing newsletters and writing all kinds of communications. And she demoed that some. She's also using it to even help curate some memories. To do research, to add research to photos and other memories. And of course, Marianna, for those who are kind of hearing this for the first time, she's a senior executive ambassador. She's a salesperson and a business owner with Forever, and she helps people organize their memories, and she helps them save them all and curate them all and organize them all within the Forever platform at forever.com. But you're very enthusiastic. You're also, by the way, in the last 12 months, you are the top salesperson for Forever. And that's an amazing accomplishment. And that's one reason I wanted to have you on, because you told me that one reason you feel you're being so successful is because you're leveraging your time. You're getting so much productivity from using AI to help you. But another thing you did is you created an anthem for our company for Forever. And tell us how you used ChatGPT to create this song, and then let's play the song.
Okay, so I spoke to Gigi and I said, "Look, I want to write this song, and I want it to be. I'll give you the. Well, what I said to her was, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to show you in Suno. So I said, I want to talk about memories and photos and love and togetherness and, just forever embodying all of this. And I gave her all I want. I said, okay, so write me a song, please. So what she did was she wrote it, and I said, yeah, I need it to be shorter, quicker, peppier, that sort of. So all she did was my lyrics. And then she said to me, you got to take these lyrics and go put them over in Suno. And Suno, I said, okay, so what do I do in Suno? She said, all right, these are the things that you need to tell ChatGPT, tell Suno. So you can see this is where it says, this is what I wrote. I prompted it. Upbeat dance pop with a Western flair, female vocal, catchy, empowering, fun, bold, high energy, suitable for line dance. And so these are all of my renditions of this. And I had to learn as I went along how to get better and better about prompting it. And then I would go back and forth and tweak some of the lyrics and then that's not quite right. And, I went back and forth. So eventually I came up with the final product. So I'm going to play it from my account because I also have the words. You can read the words beside the music as it's playing. So I'm going to play it for you. And you can see up on the top right-hand side, here are the words that you'll hear.
We're here together, side by side. Hearts are full, arms open wide. Every photo, every name tells a story, lights a flame. Forever we shine, hearts in a line. Stories we love, dancing as one. Forever we shine, hearts in a line. Stories we love, dancing as one. Step by step we save the past.
Well, Marianna, you're terrific. I think, well, that's just awesome. We won't play the whole song, but boy,
no, I wasn't going to do that to you.
That's the people should all just. Marianna basically instructed ChatGPT.
Can I just show you? This is really short.
Yeah. That is on our national sales convention at Forever. We call it Forever Live. We just had that a week and a half ago in Salt Lake City. It's about 300 of our top salespeople were there in Salt Lake City for that. So, and of course, Marianna, that was an amazing, amazing thing. That was a flash mob with the surprise song for me and the company. And Marianna calls it the Forever Anthem. And it's how many tech companies have an anthem?
I don't know.
Maybe after tonight's podcast, maybe there'll be a whole bunch who go out and use AI to create an anthem. But I think we're probably first on that, thanks to you. So what an amazing use of AI, amazing thing. And of course, it's just great. We have a live, everybody who, many more people watch this on YouTube than watch it as a live webinar, but we have a live webinar going and people have asked questions. And yeah, you can use ChatGPT and Perplexity and other AI tools for free. And then once you start to become a regular user, they want you to pay a subscription to use it a lot. But yeah, you can get started for free. And there's a number of them out there. I mentioned two right now, ChatGPT, Perplexity. Tell you, Google has more and more AI features. we have some AI features already within Forever, and we will be adding more and more as time goes by. And it's just amazing the tools that are out there. And Marianna Curran, thank you so much. We're going to go to commercial break here in just a second, but thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your knowledge and passion for AI, and also your knowledge and passion for people's memories and for Forever, forever.com. I appreciate you being with us very, very much.
It was my pleasure, my honor. Thank you, Glenn. I'm looking
Thank you,
forward to this
Marianna. We're going to
story.
go to commercial break. Be right back.
What is forever? It's seeing your parents' wedding day for the first time. It's sharing a photo book with your grandma. It's being the author of your own story. And it's passing that story on. It's the first moment, the last moment, and every moment in between. Uniquely yours for generations to come. We guarantee it.
Welcome back to Forever with Glen Meakem. Great to be with all of you. I really enjoyed that last segment on AI. That was really something. And really, thanks again to Marianna Curran. I now want to talk about, I mentioned, well, I have two things to mention. First, you may have noticed I got a little problem with my eye. You're saying, why does Glenn look like a zombie? What's going on with that right or that left eye of his? It turns out I have dry eye. And I'll talk about health in a minute here. For about 4 years, I've had dry eye, whatever that is. It's not a big thing. It's a minor thing. And I have eye drops for it. And my eye doctor gave me new eye drops about 2 weeks ago. And I started using them. And I then woke up one morning, probably having slept on my side, and over the weekend. And sure enough, I had what a capillary in beneath the whites of my eye. There's technical terminology for this, but a capillary had burst. And sure enough, I have this bleeding. It's if you look it up on the internet, you can Google this or on AI, you can go search it. It's what is it? It's basically capillaries under the whites in the whites of your eye, kind of under the surface that one can burst, and you get this bleeding, and it looks terrible. You look like a person in a horror movie, but it's really nothing. It's absolutely the most minor thing in the world. So that's why if you see my eyes and say, "Wow, he looks a little bit strange tonight," that's what it is. But I decided the show must go on. We were scheduled to do the next episode of the podcast here before the end of July, and I said it might take 2 weeks for my eye to clear it totally. So we're just going to go on with it. So that's the explanation. But this segment is about a summer camp I spoke at. So about 3 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I spoke to 400 rising juniors and seniors in high school. And it was a camp called Pennsylvania Free Enterprise Week. And it turns out Pennsylvania Free Enterprise Week is one of several camps like this around the country, around the United States. 6 or 7 different states have them. And it's a way to bring kids in from all backgrounds, very, very inexpensive to go to because there are people like me who contribute. But kids come from different high schools all over each state, and they get to have an experience where they participate in games. They're formed into business teams. They participate in a whole simulate game, business game simulation like they do in MBA programs. And they learn a lot, have a lot of speakers. They do exercises in personal finance and money management. And it's just a way for high school students to learn a lot about economics, about business, about personal financial management, about investing some, and just about life. And so anyway, they asked me to come. I had spoken at this camp about 15 or 18 years ago. And it was after my first internet company had done an IPO. I knew the people involved, and I was a big deal from the IPO, and they asked me to come speak. So I spoke. That was maybe 15, 18 years ago. And so they asked me to come back. And I spoke, and they asked me to give some life lessons. And so I spent some time putting together some life lessons and telling my story and stuff for these rising juniors and seniors in high school. So, it's mostly 17, 18-year-olds, some 16-year-olds. And as I did that, I realized, wow, a lot of these life lessons or piece of advice, whatever you want to call it, are relevant for people that age. They're also relevant for the rest of us. So I thought I would share them with you. I thought I would share, and in my last episode of the podcast, I said I would do this. I thought I would share some of the things I've learned and some of the things I shared. So the first thing I told all these kids was there are 3 truths you need to know. And this is just the truth as I see it. And the first is life is good, beautiful, and wonderful, but it's also evil, ugly, and difficult. And we know that. If you've been around on this earth for a while, you know that there's beauty and wonder and excellence and everything, but there's also difficulty and evil and sadness and ugliness. And people as individuals, we're going to have successes, but we're also going to confront problems. We're going to have failures. It's that yin and that yang. It's that beauty and wonder, but also failure and difficulty. So some of us are going to have major setbacks, health issues, and all kinds of bad things can happen. But even just in everyday life, in business, in your career, in your family, we're going to have successes. We're going to have setbacks. And I just said to them, you got to forgive yourself in advance and know that it's okay. You got to forgive yourself, but be determined to carry on, and realize that even the most successful people have setbacks and mistakes, and that's okay. Winning and succeeding is not about being perfect. No way. It's not about being perfect. No person, no team is perfect. Success is about overcoming the problems and obstacles and winning anyway. And after you get knocked down and you're defeated, picking yourself up and going on and winning the next time. So anyway, that's the first lesson. The second thing is it's an amazing blessing, whether you live in, I know we have listeners and viewers in a lot in the United States, a lot in Canada, some in Australia, some in New Zealand, a few in Britain, and maybe some others around the rest of the world, maybe some in India, et cetera. People, and actually with AI, maybe you're listening to me in French, or maybe you're listening to me in Spanish with real-time translation. But the bottom line is that no country, no place is perfect. But if you live in one of these, if you live in the United States or Canada or another advanced, economically advanced democratic nation, you are so blessed compared to many other places. All you have to do is turn on the news at night. Think about the people in Ukraine right now, or the people in Russia, both sides of that war. We're so blessed to live where we live and in the countries we live in. And I'm so blessed to live in the United States of America and be a citizen here and have the freedom and the possibilities I have. So, and it's not only is it great compared to other countries today, but compared to the past. If you dig into history, you realize we have it so much better than other people have ever had it. So, and what does that mean? It means if you live in North Korea, you're not blessed by this. If you live in a totalitarian dictatorship, you don't have these benefits. But for many of us, we have this freedom. And what does that mean? It means we're in control of our lives to some degree. Now, we're not in complete control of everything, of course. And some people are born with more opportunity than others. But here's an important thing, and I told these kids, is we all have what we call agency. If we have freedom that we have in advanced Western democratic countries, that means you have agency. Even if you come from a very disadvantaged background, you still have agency. That means you can make decisions about yourself. And if you make really good decisions and move yourself forward, no matter where you are, you can make good decisions or you can make bad decisions. Even if, whatever, you get the idea. No matter what situation you're in today, you can make a good decision that makes your life better and makes your future better, or you can make bad decisions that makes your life worse or will make your future worse every day on little things and big things. And so we all have that freedom, and we have to decide we're going to take control the best we can and make our lives the best we can. So how do we do that? Well, there's like 4 things. The first is health. And I told the kids, and it's true for all of us, and of course it's less relevant for them than it is for people my age, but you got to eat right. You got to exercise almost every day. If you want to really be healthy, those are what you got to do. And I read this over and over again in all the health stuff I read. Eat right, exercise almost every day. And even if you're just starting out, just walking can be that exercise. You gotta move. I agree with Michelle Obama on, remember she wrote that book, You got to move. And it's a great phrase. You got to remember, you got to get enough sleep. So eat right, exercise, get enough sleep, never abuse drugs, drink very, very little alcohol. The more we're learning about alcohol, the worse it is for you. And then I always talk about this, and I mentioned my dad died of colon cancer, and it was tragic. My dad was a wonderful, incredible man in many, many ways, but he wasn't really big on maintenance. And I wish he had gone to the doctor more. I wish he'd had preventative exams like a colonoscopy because he died of colon cancer. But what is that? What's the lesson learned from that? We need to go. You don't want to be a hypochondriac, but you need to go to the doctor once in a while. You need to have the appropriate tests, the appropriate screenings. Obviously, they're a little different for men and women, but whether you're a man or a woman, you need to have the appropriate screening tests and things as your life goes by. And of course, that gets more intense as you get older. You need to have appropriate vaccinations and take care of your body and your teeth. It's amazing. I have a son-in-law who's a dentist, and it's like we're learning more and more about how oral health is physical health. And if you don't take care of your oral health, you're just putting all kinds of bad stuff into your body. Also, I told these kids, and I gave them an analogy, a specific example for their age group, which I'll share with you in just a second. But it's true of all age groups. There's different risks for different ages. But I said, listen, the world's a dangerous place. Back to that reality, it's beautiful and wonderful, but it's also dangerous, ugly, and evil. Well, if you realize that, okay, you got to have this thing. And I used to be an Army officer. There's this thing called situational awareness, where just being aware of what's going on around you makes you a lot safer. That's true in combat. That's true in life. That's true walking down the street. It's true going to a fraternity or sorority party or a college party. And quick story, my older brother had a friend in college who was at a fraternity party and fell off the roof. They were up there doing whatever they were doing at a party in college. He fell off the roof and has been paralyzed ever since. And talk about tragedy. That is the definition of tragedy. And I told the kids, beware of fraternity parties, beware of the roof. Don't go party on the roof. And guess what? That's a relevant piece of advice for 18-year-olds, because guess what? Go to a big school. You'll see people on the roof. I promise you, and they shouldn't be there. Anyway, but that's just you can take that to many other examples. I see people screaming down the street on these electric scooters sometime. If you talk to medical professionals, you'll hear. I saw them today, just on the street I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the downtown part of Pittsburgh, right in the city, and I see people racing down the sidewalk on these scooters. And I'm aware in my own family of accidents with scooters. But if you talk to medical professionals, get emergency room data, guess what? There's a lot of scooter accidents, and some of them are terrible and tragic. So anyway, you got to be aware. Another thing is on health. You got to build meaningful friendships and stay engaged with people. So health is a big deal. That's number one. Professional life. I talked to these kids and I said, listen, to be successful in your professional life, you need to learn about yourself, experiment, and find your calling. The goal, what's the goal of your professional life? The goal of your professional life is to earn a living. We all have to pay the bills. Is to earn a living doing something you really, really enjoy so that it doesn't feel like work. You want to get paid to do something every day that does not feel like work, that you really enjoy. Now, and how do you do that? You go for it. You try things. I told them stories about how I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. So one summer in college, I worked for a law firm, decided I didn't want to be a lawyer. I thought I might want to be an Army officer. I did the training. I had an incredible experience, 2 years active duty, 10 years total in the reserve in the United States Army as a young officer. Great experience, great learning. I draw on that experience every day. And yet I decided too, I didn't want to be a career Army officer. And I decided that pretty quickly. But the point is that these stories I told these kids, it's like, throw yourself into things, give it a try. And when you realize you don't want to do something, that's great. You can check that off and move on. That's a great thing. But by trying different things and learning, what are the things you really enjoy? If you're a person who's an incredible extrovert, who loves to talk to other people, who's not very mathematical, is not going to be a good software engineer or mechanical engineer, right? You need to be aware, you need to be realistic with yourself about what you love, what you're good at, and then find a career, find a professional path that matches your skill set. So we talked a lot about that. And then, and tailor your education. become more and more educated. I told them you got to get the best education you can formally, but then you need to learn. Lifelong learning is critical. That's part of the point of Marianna with the AI, right? Things are changing so fast. To stay relevant and skilled and be valuable in the economy, we all have to keep learning, and that's a lifelong pursuit. But here's the other thing I told them is that, yeah, in order to learn, you have to learn some hard things sometimes, and you have to maybe there's a job you have. It's not like you can snap your fingers instantly and find the perfect job or the perfect profession. Sometimes you have to really stick it out. Sometimes you got to be tough. Sometimes you got to be determined. Sometimes you just got to, stick to it. But, and I heard that when I graduated from Harvard Business School a long time ago, a professor gave a lecture about this topic. It was about the 2-year rule. Remember this, the 2-year rule. I told these kids this too. It's like, if you're really unhappy, there are going to be times where you're not happy to go to work and you got to stick it out. But you don't want to do that for more than 2 years. Fine. The bridge to your next great opportunity may be to really stick it out here for 6 months or 12 months or 18 months or 24 months. You may determine that's the right, or to keep your family fed and clothed while you find a better option. You may have to stick it out, right? But 2-year limit. If you do something you hate doing for more than 2 years, you're selling yourself short. That means you're not working hard enough on the next option. So I just thought or the next path, the next goal, the next job. And I think that's really relevant for a lot of people, that they should obey the 2-year rule and realize if you're just not happy with what you're doing. And this is relevant for 18, 19, 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds entering the workforce, et cetera, right? But boy, is it relevant for all of us. I don't care whether you're 60 or 70 or 40 or 30 or whatever age. The 2-year rule is a great, great, great rule. And it means if you're not happy with your professional life, you need to have the energy to find your dreams, to go for it, to do something else, to have the courage to reach out and try something else. And you owe that to yourself. In order to be happy, sometimes you got to stick to it and just be determined and gritty. Sometimes you have to have the courage to jump to the next thing. So anyway, they love that piece of advice. And what does this all mean? It means professionally, I'm not saying, oh, go be a lawyer. Oh, be a doctor. Oh, go do this. Go follow this path or that path. No, I'm saying discover who you are and find your path. And that's true whether you're 25 or 35 or 45, 55, 65, 75, or even 85. Maybe you're retired, but you're not happy. Find your path. What is it you want? Maybe you've always wanted to have a garden and you just haven't done it yet. Go do it. Go dig the garden. Go start. Maybe you don't have space. Put pots on the back terrace, on the, whatever. I think there's this attitude of go for it. Go try. Find your calling. And anyway, I think that's relevant for all of us. And life is long, right? Things change. The goals and desires you had when you were 25 are different than what you have when you're 45, different than 65 or 75 or 85. So I think we just have to keep in touch with ourselves. We got to keep figuring out what's going to make me happy, and I got to go for it. So that's number 2. That's my professional advice: is pursue your dreams, find your path, go find a way to make your professional life really, really fun and happy so that you earn a living doing what you enjoy doing. And that way you're not working. You're just living your great life. All right. The next thing was love and family. And I'm passionate about this. Not everyone gets married. Not everyone wants to be married. I'm not judging that at all. But most people do. Most people want that companionship and that lifelong partnership. And so most people do. And I think some people, this really relevant for young people again, but it can be older people too, is that I think people make a mistake by not dating seriously enough. If you're looking, if you're in your 20s and you're looking for that right partner, that right husband or wife, let's put it this way, every day you spend with the wrong person is a day you're not finding the right person. What is the right person? My wife and I would like to tell our kids, I boil it down to 5 things. One is who's the right person? It's somebody you love, somebody you're crazy about. Life is too short to try to be with somebody who you're not absolutely in love with, who you're not crazy about. That's one, but that's not at all. Do you find them? They got to be interesting. You got to enjoy being with them. It really, really helps. Now we get practical. It really, really helps if you have common beliefs and values. Why? Because if you have very different beliefs and values, then you're going to have conflict. Let's say one person really, really believes in fidelity and the other person doesn't. Well, that's going to lead to big conflicts, right? So having common beliefs and values really helps. Another thing I've learned, number 4, is having goals and desires for family and career that line up really helps. Can create a lot of friction if one person wants a big family and the other person doesn't, or if one person wants to have a big career and the other one wants to, make sure their spouse is home every night at 5 o'clock, right? So having kind of alignment between family and professional goals is really important. And then, of course, then there's this basics around someone who's honest and responsible, loving and kind. That's a lot in one sentence, but a good person who's honest and loving and kind. And I find, okay, so then if you find a person like that, who honest, loving, kind, who you really, really, really love, who you find interesting, who has common beliefs and values, and whose professional and family goals line up, well, then stick with them, because statistics have shown, this is true in the United States, it's true in Canada, it's true in all these developed countries, people get married and stay married are wealthier and more successful financially than people who don't. It's just, there's just over studies. I'm not saying that to offend anybody. It's just true over and over and over again. Like divorce, okay, sometimes, hey, listen, if somebody's violent, somebody is abusive, nobody should stay in a relationship like that. Okay, let's be clear. But understand, divorce is a huge financial hit. It really is. And so people who find the right person, get married and stay married, and no marriage is perfect. No two people are perfect. It takes work. It takes dedication. It takes stick-to-itiveness. It takes, and I love this phrase. I learned this a long time ago. Love is an emotion, but love is also a decision. And, you decide every day to be in love and to stick with it. And that's true of every good marriage. And so anyway, when people find a good marriage, and and I think it's good to let young people know there's no perfect marriage, but when you find a really good marriage, when you find all the things I'm talking about and stick with it, then you can face life together and build a life together. And that's true about finances. And that brings me to the next thing, which is managing money. And of course, one thing that breaks up marriages and leads to all sorts of pain is money problems. We all know that. Many people do not do a good job of keeping track of their money. They don't know they don't know the money they're making. They don't know where it's going. You ask people, oh, you have a retirement plan where you have a 401k, you have an IRA at work, and how is it invested? They don't know. They don't know what's coming in. They don't know where it's going. And then they don't know what they're spending on. What are you spending on your car? What are you spending on the house? What are you spending on utilities? What are you spending on food? What are you spending on going out? People don't know. It's like, gee, it really helps to track what you're doing. And of course, there's great programs like Quicken for this, but to track your own spending, treat your own household like a business. If you're married, work together as partners on your own business that you own together, and make sure you make every money every month. And if you're charitably inclined or religiously inclined, give money to God, and then give money to yourself. Make sure you pay yourself. Pay money to the charities, to the faith tradition you believe in, but pay yourself and make sure you're saving. And that's how you generate wealth, is by saving and investing. So anyway, a couple just quick tracks on that. Live within your means, covered that. Keep track of your money, programs like Quicken, etc. Take on only good debt. I actually spoke about this with Bob Fergasso in my last episode of Financial Advisor. But yeah, good debt to pay for college education that's going to help you advance your career, to pay for education that's going to help you advance your career, a reasonable car to get to and from work and that you need for your family, a home you can afford. Bad debt, never borrow to buy clothes, never borrow. And you can use a credit card as long as you pay it off every month, but never borrow to go on vacation, never borrow to buy clothes, never borrow to do, fancy frilly stuff. That's the kind of stuff you save money for. You don't go into debt for. That's a huge mistake so many people make. So don't take on bad debt. And if you're married, like I said, be a team, do it together. And of course, people have heard me speak before. I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey. Everything I'm saying is consistent with what he says and his team. And I think that they're right on with the kind of big. I'm covering this quick, but bigger sorts of education Dave Ramsey and other people provide on these topics. But it's amazing. Everything I'm saying is just like common sense, and yet a lot of people don't follow through on that common sense. So anyway, we're going to go to commercial break, and when I come back, I'm just going to give you a quick summary and end the show. We'll be right back.
At Forever, we're on a mission to digitize and preserve your precious memories. With the newest and most secure facility in the world, we offer the highest quality, highest value digitization service. We have state-of-the-art equipment and an expert team, so we can digitize anything. Old videos, films, cassette tapes, negatives, photographs, documents, even scrapbooks. Send us your old memories and we'll digitize them all. You'll be able to see and hear online, share with your friends and family, download wherever you want, and save for future generations. Of course, we'll also send back your originals. To start, go to forever.com. Yes, that's right, forever.com.
At Forever, we have our headquarters. I'm in our headquarters office here in downtown Pittsburgh on the 20th floor of 1 PPG Place, a beautiful, iconic building in downtown Pittsburgh. But our digitization center is in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You saw the picture, and we're very proud of that new digitization facility. We think it's the world's best. And of course, you can get more information at forever.com. But just to summarize, to end the show tonight, I want to summarize some of these life lessons. I shared with these 17 and 18-year-olds, but I think it's very, very relevant for all of us. One is get the best education you can, and that might be true. The formal education part might be when you're younger, but then the key is keep educating yourself, keep on learning. We all need to do that to be happy, to be fulfilled, and to be relevant in the economy. We got to keep getting educated. And Marianna Curran talking about AI is just one example of that, how we need to keep getting educated because things are changing rapidly. You got to be real. I told these kids that you're not an independent. A lot of young people want independence. They want all this freedom, but then they don't want to take responsibility. Many do. But hey, I said, got to be real. You're not an independent adult unless you're supporting yourself, or you and your spouse together are supporting yourselves as a team. Maybe one spouse decides to stay home with kids. That's fine. But the world is a better place. Young people, young adults are happier. And this is true at all stages, but we're happier when we're self-reliant. And we might be self-reliant as an individual or as a family, but it's not great to be reliant on outside your own nuclear family. I just think, and that gets back to managing money well and all those things I talked about. I talked about go for it. 3, you just won't get the acceptance, job promotion, success you want in your professional life unless you're doing something you love and you're good at and you're well suited for. So you gotta experiment and do enough things to find that calling. You got to be determined. You got to forgive yourself for your mistakes. All of us make mistakes. The most successful people have big failures, get knocked down, and have to pick themselves back up again. I like to tell people it's not about in your life and in your life and your career. It's not about if you're going to get knocked down. It's about when you're going to get knocked down and how fast you're going to get back up again. And so we all have to be determined. That said, remember number 5. Remember the 2-year rule. Don't do anything you hate for more than 2 years. Doing something you really hate or unhappy with might be a bridge you have to cross over for a period of time. I've been there. We've all been there. You got to stick to it to some degree. But man, if 2 years goes by and you haven't found a new job or you haven't found a new career, you got to make a change because life is too short. You owe more to yourself than that. 6, set and reset goals for yourself as your life changes. The goals I have now at my age are different than the goals I had 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, and certainly 40 years ago. So it's just really good to stay in touch with yourself and reset goals. And then I said on the personal front, love and marriage, I said to these young people, I said, date seriously and find the person who's the right person for you. And if you find that right person, spend the rest of your life with them. And realize nothing's perfect. It's going to take some determination and adaptability. But if you can find the right marriage, boy, is it a great advantage in life. And people who are married and stay married do better financially, statistically than than others. So I did encourage them in that department. And I also told them, listen, every day you're dating, and this is really relevant for young adults, the people in their 20s especially. Every day you're dating the wrong person. Like if talking to a 22-year-old, it's relevant for an 18-year-old, really relevant for a 22 or 25-year-old or 30-year-old. Or a person who's divorced or is widowed and is looking for, or hasn't been married and is older, relevant for them too. If you're interested in that long-term relationship, if you're interested in that marital relationship, every day you're dating, every day you're with the wrong person, a person isn't the right person. Every day you're with them is a day you're not with the right person. Or the day you're not finding the right person. And what does that take? It's like the career thing. It takes courage. It takes courage to reach out. It takes courage to venture forth into the world to find your destiny. And that's what I was really telling the kids, like, venture forth, find your destiny, go out there, find it. Manage your money well. And then I'll end tonight by saying the same thing, which is life is so much better. This is the perspective I have at my age, but life is better when you're just kind to and serve other people. I think when you realize, when a person realizes that it's not about me, it's not about, it's just not about whatever, any of us individually. Real happiness doesn't come from being selfish. Real happiness and worrying about me all the time. Happiness comes from being loyal to and devoted to other people, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your parents, your siblings, your friends. Life is a successful life is a team sport. And you're not going to have a successful, happy life all alone. No, that doesn't mean you have to be married or doesn't mean you have to be in a traditional anything, but it means you got to figure out in life who's on your team and be loyal to them. And it's amazing what happens when you decide that you're just going to be loyal to some other people and you're going to help them and you're going to serve. Your life isn't about just yourself. Your life is about serving other people and being loyal to them. And I'll leave it there. That's what I told this group of 17, 18-year-olds and a few 16-year-olds. And I also thought all of you might like to hear it as well. And I don't have all the right answers. I'm still learning myself every day. And if you have comments or things I missed or things you'd like to share with me, I'd love to hear your feedback. And my podcast email is easy. It's just Glen. My name is, and Marianna said this, Glen with one N. So GLEN @forever.com. You see a Forever box right there behind me. It's just the word forever, the brand Forever. But if you want to reach me, give me any feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Glen @forever.com. And thanks so much for being with us. And I'll talk to you again very, very soon.